So, I was gonna tell you about The Journey to the West, but that book is long, and frankly, I stumbled across something that is a little bit closer to my heart. This is a story about my summer abroad in Rome in the 1st century AD. It's called the Satyricon, and it's by a guy named, I forgot his name, but that's okay. We're just going to pretend it's by me. So, the story starts out with a monologue that I kind of agree with. He's talking about the fact that everybody who goes through school to learn how to think learns how to think the same goddamn way, and they all produce the same goddamn work. It was true in the 1st century AD, and it's true today. I mean, look at YouTube, this illustrious website that this video is on right now. You've got people like Nikki Limo and Flula. That's not even a real name. Those people are all exactly the same person. They're all as exuberant as a 5-year-old. They all edit their videos in the exact same way with these quick jump cuts. I mean, I was doing the same fucking thing because I figured that was the only way to make a YouTube video. I'm not immune to it either. But it's just disgusting. It's just like all of these people have been turned into products for you to consume in a way that requires you to expose as little of yourself as possible. And to learn as little as possible. But anyway, I was talking on this subject. I was holding forth at a university in Rome one day when Agamemnon came up to me and he was like, dude, it's not the fault of the teachers, it's the fault of the students. This is what the people want. And I was like, fuck you, Agamemnon. I'm not even like a scholar or anything. I'm just here in front of this university because I'm a criminal and I like robbing people at universities. And Agamemnon was like, okay, that's reasonable. And he goes into the university. And I realized my bro, who I call Ace, is not around. I was here in the city with him, but I don't know where he is. So I'm like looking for him. I'm looking for the place that we're staying, and I'm walking around, and I run into this old woman. I don't know why, but I'm like, old woman, do you know where my buddy Ace is? And she's like, oh yeah, I know right where he is. Come follow me. And so I follow her, and I'm thinking, she probably doesn't know where she's going. And it turns out she does know where she's going, but it's not where I want to go because she takes me to a whorehouse. And I'm like, what the fuck? And she's like, I took you to a whorehouse. But you know what? It turns out Ace is right there at the whorehouse too. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing at the whorehouse? And he's like, well, I was looking around for the inn and I saw some dude and I was like, can you take me to the inn? And he's like, sure. But then he took me to the whorehouse. Like everybody in this city, if you ask them for directions, they just take you to the whorehouse. But Ace got off even worse than me because the dude who took him to the whorehouse then pulled his dick out and tried to put it in Ace's mouth. So neither of us are super cool with this, but we're already at the whorehouse, so we figure we might as well go in. And we go in, and everybody's trying to have sex with us, and somebody actually, tries to rape Ace, so he runs off, and I'm like, okay, fuck this. So I go back, and I find him at the hotel, and he's at the hotel, and also, my bro, Giton, is at the hotel. Now, when I say bro, I mean young man who I have sex with. Which is actually what everybody means when they say bro. I'm just being upfront about it. Anyway, Giton's there, and he's like, dude, Ace came in here, and he was trying to force sex me. And I was like, Ace, buddy, you just had someone try and force sex you. Why are you trying to force sex Giton? And Ace is like, fuck you, you're not my dad. And I'm like, no, I'm not your dad. Because it would be weird if I was your dad, because I've definitely put my penis inside of you. And Ace is like, whatever! And he runs off, and I'm like, sweet, now I get to go back to banging my young boy toy Giton. So we're having sex, but then Ace comes back in, and he starts beating me with a belt, and he's like, this is what you get! You get beat with belts! And I'm like, dude, calm down! I'm actually kind of getting off on that. But look, settle down. Alright, so I know that you and me and Giton are all kind of friends, and we're all sort of criminals together, but maybe we should, take a break for a little while, and do something else, and Ace is like, no, fuck that. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to go out into the country, and we're going to go shack up with this knight who I used to bang named Lycaon, or Kyrgyz, or whatever, I don't know. I've banged so many people, it's hard for me to keep track of their names. But anyway, we're going to shack up with him, and we're going to wait out the summer, because it's harder to do crimes in Rome during the summer, so we're going to go out there. And I'm like, alright, sure, sounds good to me. So we go out to Kyrgyz's house, and Lycurgus already has some other people over there. He's got this dude, Lycus, who really wants to bone me. And then there's also this other chick, who I actually wrote her name down. because I'm going to go and kick her ass someday. Yeah, her name is Typhena. And she was so hot, man. She was so hot that I should have known she was problems. But so, while Lycus is trying to bang me, and I'm ignoring Giton, and Ace is trying to bang, Lycurgus, who's trying to bang Ace, I'm trying to bang Typhena. And it's working. I'm banging the shit out of her. But Lycus doesn't want that. He wants me to have sex with him. So he invites us all over to his place. And on the way, he hooks up Typhena with Giton. So I'm watching Typhena make eyes at Giton. And Lycus is like, you see that? That's why you should have sex with me. And I'm like, okay. But then we get to Lycus's house. And Lycus has a really hot wife. So I start banging Lycus's wife. Typhena bangs Giton literally into a coma, and meanwhile Lycus still isn't getting laid, so he gets pissed off, and when Typhena discovers me banging his wife, she tells him, and he starts chasing us with knives, so I grab Giton and I get the fuck out, and we go back to Lycurgus's house, or Lycaon's house, or whatever. It doesn't even matter. We go back to his house, and we get Ace, and we're like, alright dude, we're getting the fuck out of here. We just gotta rob your guy's house, and then we're gonna leave. So we rob his house, and we leave, and everybody's real mad at us. We rob some inns, I get lost in the woods for a while, and we finally end up back in the city. So we're in the city, and we're selling our stolen goods, we make a fair amount of money, and we're on the way back to the inn to count up our spoils, and I see a couple of hot chicks. Now, it's not unusual for me to see a couple of hot chicks. Hot chicks are fucking everywhere, and I should tell you that I have incredibly low standards. But I see these two hot chicks walking into a building, so I'm like, I'm gonna go see what's up. So I walk in there and I peek in, and it's like 60 ladies, all with statues of Priapus. Now, if you don't know, Priapus is a god who's basically a giant dong with a tiny person attached. So really what these ladies are holding is row upon row of sacred dildos. And I'm like, damn, I gotta see some of this. But then they all turn around and they're like, ah, get out, get out, get out. And I'm like, okay, fine. So we go back to the inn and we're counting our money. And all of a sudden somebody shows up at the inn, knocks at the door. And we're like, who is it? And it's like, hey, we're all the ladies from that temple. You saw our secret ceremony, so now we have to punish you. But it turns out that their method of punishing us is to close down the whole inn and then have an orgy. Just turn our place of living into an orgy. And I would be fine with this normally, but they kind of took me by surprise, and my dick wasn't really working the way that it was supposed to, and they were really insistent. I mean, these are ladies who worship Priapus. Priapus is hard all the time, and that is a really hard standard to live up to. So we're like, ladies, please just let us calm down for a second. They're like, no, you're not going to sleep. We're going to have sex forever. And we're trying to figure out a way to get out of here. But then then the head of them, her name is Quartilla. She is getting real handsy with Giton, and I'm not too stoked about that, but she's like, Giton, you're such a young boy. This is perfect. This is the perfect opportunity for us to get rid of the problematic virginity of one of our members. So they bring in this girl, and this girl is 7 years old. You can still have your virginity when you're 7 years old. That's okay. But apparently it's not okay for these crazy-ass holy stone dildo worshippers. So they're like, Giton, you bang this 7-year-old. And Giton's like, okay. So they put them in a closet together, and it's 7 minutes in heaven, but it's really however long it takes to deflower this child. And I'm really not okay with this. But I'm still watching through the keyhole because I'm a fucking pervert. And Quartilla is watching through the keyhole too, and so our faces are all pressed up next to each other and kind of licking each other and being sexy and whatever, because I really can't control myself. And then all of a sudden, the captain of the guard busts in, and we're like, oh shit, we're going to jail. All of our days of robbing shit and having sex with whoever have finally caught up with us. But it turns out the captain of the guard is just there because he was supposed to bang Quartilla that night, and she totally bailed on him to come have an orgy at our place. So he's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's mad at me too, even though I didn't do anything except for steal a bunch of shit and have sex with everyone. So he ties me up. But he doesn't just tie me up, he ties me to Quartilla. He ties us together. And then he brings in this old creepy dude to have sex with me in my butt. And so he's having sex with me in my butt, and they fed me like this Viagra potion earlier, so now I'm like having sex with Cartilla, and I'm tied to her, and I'm banging her, and I'm getting banged in the butt, and meanwhile in the other room, Giton is having sex with a 7-year-old, and it's just like, then the captain of the guard runs in there, and he tries to have sex with both of them, but they're like, and now, and while all of this is happening, just this hurricane of lust, that old chick from the beginning of the story comes in, the one who led me to the brothel. She walks in like, everybody calm down, and there is nothing bigger boner kill than an old lady running into the middle of your orgy screaming about thieves or whatever. So she's screaming about the thieves, and the captain of the guard is like, oh shit, I gotta do my job instead of trying to rape everybody. So he runs out, and I'm still in there, but I'm like, I get free from the ropes, and I'm like, guys, we gotta get out of here. So I grab Ace, and I grab Giton, and we run out of there, and we're running, and we're like, we just gotta find someplace to sleep. I feel like I haven't slept in forever. Oh, wait! There's totally another party going on tonight. We gotta go to another party. And that's a whole nother story.